السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. It's our pleasure to have you today with us in this this session about from HR to strategic partner, mastering influence and excellence. It's our pleasure to have with us today our dearest guest, Mr. Abdulaziz Al-Rumi, Assistant General Manager, HR Group, Bobian Bank, author, thought leader, and executive coach. I will give small introduction and then we'll have this discussion start, inshallah. This session comes to you from HR Leaders Kuwait and Tanmiyah Group, Qatar School Middle East, HR Excellence Club, and Quality and Excellence Middle East. So I'm Dr. Muhammad Rabi Sheikh, the founder and CEO of Tanmiyah Consulting and HR Leaders Kuwait, Quality and Excellence Middle East, and Qatar School Middle East. I have a mission to inspire people and organizations to accelerate growth and achieve excellence. That's what we are doing here today. Is part of my mission and part of the mission of HR Leaders Group to introduce HR community to the concept of strategic partnership. So our dearest guest today, Mr. Abdulaziz Al-Rumi, is Kuwaiti executive coach, author, and HR leader with over 20 years of experience across different industries like retail, oil and gas, IT, banking, F&B, logistics. He is leadership expert and has trained and coached executives globally, specializing in talent management, strategic HR, leadership development, and emotional intelligence. In 2022, he authored Prevail, an Amazon #1 bestseller, providing comprehensive system for leadership growth. He's also the author of HR Hustler, a game-changing book redefining the role of HR in shaping business strategy and leadership. Mr. Abdulaziz is a member of Harvard Business Review Advisory Council and has been recognized as one of Arabian Business 100 most inspiring leaders. His insights on leadership, HR, and business transformation have earned him recognition as 4 times LinkedIn Top Voice and recently HRCI Ambassador. So, welcome, Mr. Abdulaziz. Our pleasure to have you with us today.
Pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much. It's a lengthy introduction. It might look good. It might be good, but I know that there's a lot for me to learn, and I'm looking forward to learn from all my colleagues and everyone who's attending today. Bear with me if it's too boring or I sound too boring. It's not because of Mr. Rabi's fault or HR's fault. Most likely it's my fault.
I want to check, first of all, if the sound is good, because I think the sound, so if the sound is good.
Can everyone give a thumbs up if they...
I think the sound needs to be better higher.
My voice needs to be higher?
Okay.
Okay, Federico. Okay, so,
okay.
Yeah.
Yes, we can go.
Great stuff.
Mr. Abdulaziz, welcome to our this webinar, and we're looking forward to learn from you and exchange some ideas from you as well. So, what's going on in the world around us, and how can HR help in this? What's going on around us, and what's the role of HR in what's going on?
Well, whatever is happening, with I don't want to mention names, but America, China, tariffs, you know, who knows what's going to happen? Are we going to third world war? I hope not, inshallah, no. But it is challenging times, especially in the Middle East. You know, we've been suffering for the past 60, 70 years. It's always been a turmoil, very political, challenging, even environmentally challenging location. And hopefully we benefit from all of this to be more resilient, to have a more of a continue to maintain our faith and growth mindset in ourselves and in our identity.
How do you see the role of HR these days?
Since I'm thankful for COVID, although it's might be perceived as a negative time, but I really do believe that COVID helped HR a lot. Helped us to have Zoom, by the way, to use such meetings. It accelerated the business in a different way. It helped people come together. And when we say people, that eventually means HR. People stopped talking about well-being. It became a hot topic. It became a universal topic. Later on, we talked about diversity. We talked about inclusion. Relevance, if it's not an agenda now for mostly the Western countries, but it is a valid case. People need to live in dignity, to have respect, and to have fair treatment in whatever they are, whether they are a citizen or an employee. So we need to build on this and capitalize on these changing moments. People start working virtually. They started working from home. Now people are coming back to work. So it shouldn't be like being always working from home and not coming to work, and vice versa. We need to learn from such an experience. We need to learn from well-being, but not to take it that far. We just need to have some balance in our life and do things based on purpose. Some companies might be more convenient for them to work from home, to have highly flexible working hours, to adopt a high well-being, let's say, environment due to the nature of their work. Others don't. So as long as it's fit for purpose and we're able to strive and thrive and make money so that we have our salaries paid and we can live our life. Otherwise, we will be working from home forever, right? Because we're not getting paid. So this is the type of thing that we need to be aware of.
Great. I know that you are writer of 2 books, Prevail and HR Hustler, your recent child, a recent book.
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell us about the idea of each book and what brought you to think about writing these 2 books?
Yes, definitely. So I used to read a lot of books when I was younger. It appeals to me more comic books and anything with diagrams, pictures, rather than actual, words. I can get easily bored in reading a book, but once I read it and it's an interesting one, I can't stop until I finish that book. So I'm not a big fan of reading. I don't do this on a daily basis, but I push myself to do it. Now, once upon a time, I was in the late 2019, I established my company, Global Legacy. And while I was thinking about the word, what I want to name my company, I realized I want to do coaching and I want to help people to be better. So be genuinely better. And people who are genuinely better, humans, they usually leave a mark or leave a legacy. So in order for me to keep my legacy, the best way is to have a book or maybe videos, maybe a social media platform page. So I thought writing a book will help me be an example. If I do something that I don't really like, but I see it is worth doing because of the people who will benefit from. And it will hold me accountable because it is black and white. And people can always go back and challenge me on all my thoughts, theories, ideas that I don't complement on my daily life. So I like this. It helps me to be accountable. So the first thought was the essence of leadership. As a leadership fanatic, as a guy who believes that leadership solves all the people's problems, all the world problems, so I wrote Prevail. prevail will be the cornerstone of what is a true essence of solid leadership, a universal model of solid leadership for genuine people, for aspiring and current leaders. Once I wrote that book, I figured because I work at Bobby and Back, because I'm a corporate guy, I will always be a corporate guy. I like to work from 8 to 5 or 9 to 5. I like to go to office. Although I'm an entrepreneur, but I prefer to work as an employee. And I encourage people to do whatever they like, regardless of what people think. And being an entrepreneur is a great thing, but doesn't make you, not everyone has to be this. Like myself, I'm an engineer, but it doesn't mean that if you're not an engineer, that means that you're not that smart or you can't contribute with value. It's not relevant. So while I'm helping people and leaders to develop, I realize that they cannot do it with the right HR mindset, with the right HR structure, system within their organization, in order for them to succeed. And not only to perform well, but to behave well, genuinely, with high integrity. So I decided that within the right leadership mindset, the leadership character that we have, the future leaders that we want to grow and groom, we need to have the proper HR department in the same organization. And this is the HR hustler.
So can you give us more idea about the HR hustler and why they choose this name?
Good. For some reason, I believe I might be successful in HR. Moving through the ranks, I worked in 6, 7 different industries, whether consulting or a full-time employee, from logistics to retail to food and beverage to oil and gas, engineering, investment, banking, finance, is because I talk business. Whenever I go, I believe that I have an exposure. I don't want to say wealth of knowledge, but I was really exposed to best practices, to different practices, to global practices that cannot be taken for granted. When I was at Equate was a state of the art, okay, highly invested in terms of HR and people systems, top performance management, top ERP system, and all of this. When I went to other organizations that are premature in their HR, my common language that I used to speak was too high and too superficial for the stakeholders, for the board members. They didn't understand what I was talking about. So I had to translate my language, my HR language, sophisticated theoretical language, into a business language in order to influence them, to help them understand and realize why these frameworks are important. For example, why do we need a competency framework? Why not just training? Why learning and development? Why not the training and development? What's the difference? Simple terminologies like this. Why do we have bands, grade bands? Right? Why do we do well-being to begin with? Why do we have target selection? Why does the HR need to do the interviews and the business do the interview? Why not just the business? Or why not only HR? These simple discussions were very challenging for me. I didn't realize that I have to really explain this and explain myself. Although it is known everywhere and on most companies, and although we take it in our certifications, whether it's PHR, HRCI, or any different, certifications. Okay, so what is common sense for us is not common sense to them. And in leadership in general, it's not about you, it's about them. It's always about the stakeholder. And then I realized I was hustling in the literal meaning, how to bring things together, making it simple, making it pragmatic. So translating HR terminologies into dynamic terminologies, something related to each leader and business leader and industry, so that they will embrace it and make sense of it. In addition, and in parallel to this, I had to speak business. I need to understand the business model of each business, how it affects, and how HR can contribute. So I don't talk only about turnover. I don't just talk about hiring or firing people or training people. I talk business first. When I see the numbers, I discuss it with the business leaders why we are not doing well and how well are we doing. So I trained myself to understand how to understand the business is working, the P&L and everything. So they take me for granted. They take me for more of an appreciation. They appreciate what I do. I earned my place as a business leader. Then I took a job. And that helped me a lot. And this is the same, let's say, a trick that I'm doing, whatever I'm doing. And basically, it is being an HR hustler. I believe is the right way to gain the trust, to build alliances, to help people see what really matters. And it's so simple that anyone can do it, whether you're in a small business, a big business, in corporate, in government, right? So when you have the same mindset and you talk business, whatever that business is, to the CEO or to the management or to the board, you gain their trust, and then they can be open to your sophisticated HR nonsense of your nation, which is not nonsense, of course. However, it's nonsense for them at that point.
That's really great. I hear many few things that are really great. One of them is about starting with why. I always like this book from Simon Sinek, says start with why. So I think you have used this a lot. Why we need this function, what the importance of HR, what's the importance of training. So can you tell us more about this part? Start with why.
Simon Sinek says start with why. Okay. For example, Franklin Covey says start with the end in mind.
Yes.
Some call it purpose, some call it passion. For me, it's just having a common understanding.
Yes.
Building alignment. Whenever we do an action, or even if I want to be hired, I first need to know why me and what you want from that job. What do you want from your next HR leader or learning and talent management, whatever? What do you want from this to achieve in that specific project? And if it's not clear, then you go for the why.
Yes.
Right? So in everything we do, we just need to understand how it will end and what the end look like.
Yes.
And in order not to get so engaged, and then everyone comes together, and then we'll have conflict or frustration, maybe unhealthy competition or whatever. Setting the standards, understanding what is expected. You want to call it why or what, it's all the same. But I do agree with you, starting with the why usually makes a lot of sense and help bring people together.
You build the case. I mean, you build the case for HR, the case for learning, development, growth. This will be translated into resources, expenses, and so on. Okay. And as you said before, something also very important, say that you speak their language, you understand the business, you become part of their operations. So how can you really do that? How can you really understand the business and become part of the daily business and the daily operations, build the relation, build trust? How can you do that?
We'll do it step by step. First of all, I need to understand, so whenever I go, for example, in any organization, I ask the business leaders, what really matters most for you? Because some department might have a challenge with nationalization, for example. Some might have challenge with lack of manpower. Some have a challenge of turnover. Some have a challenge with retention. Some have a challenge with engagement. Okay, so each within the organization, each business leader have their own challenge. They're trying to serve their need and coming back with data, because the data defeats doubt. Okay, coming back with data, coming back with information and the progress and involving them. Again, I'm not a superhero, and this is a mistake I did before. I wanted to save the world and do everything. I was capable. I knew how to do it, but they just didn't care. Some people, even if they are business owners, they basically don't care. So you need to be aware of this. Some people, some business owners, okay, or family business, or what have you, they would laugh together and enjoy and make you as HR do all the bad work and the hard work. So you need to be careful. Okay, although you have good intentions, that's not enough. You need to make sure that whatever they're asking for, they need to be involved and they need to be accountable. You are only an enabler. HR are only enablers. Let's make sure that we understand this. There is nothing more to do. The best HR is the invisible HR. Right? If they ask you to do this, okay, do the training, you do succession, you do this, you do that, that's a trap. Okay? Because at the end, you need to deliver the feedback, constructive feedback. You need to do, unfortunately, the bad coaching, not the real coaching, and they will be having fun, enjoying, and you will be paying the price. Although they, as leaders, need to be accountable on delivering feedback, constructive feedback. So this is our role, to tell them how to do it and how to do it well and why they need to do it and all of this. And it's for them to do it or not. And that's why they need to have their own matrix, the people's matrix. And you also need to show to the board, to the business, the effect of poor leadership behavior within each department or business unit. With this, you can say that you did things in between. Like in the Arabic saying, we hold the stick in midway. So I supported you, but I'm also holding you accountable for your work. And this is only fair, because at the end, we need to balance. As HR needs to balance between systems and taking care of the people, right? The balance between managing and leadership. We need to keep that balance and keep the compliance. People will know if, for example, and this is a very good trick. Not actually a trick, it's a tip, actually. So an open door policy. If people can come to the HR leader anytime, now if you're busy, then you're busy. If it's not something urgent, but if they know they can approach the HR leader and you have the support of the management, then that will help you a lot in securing that we have a decent work environment, and leaders know that they will be held accountable for their poor and bad management and behavior.
Yes, it's really great. I think talking about it theoretically looks fine and looks great, but again, in practical life, what challenge that you are facing? Because not everyone will be, yes, okay, great, I'll be accountable and I will take it, I will do it. Okay. How can you ensure that what obstacles that you have faced, and then how could you get over these obstacles in your way to make things really happen on the ground?
I still have obstacles. I still have challenges. I didn't solve it. I cannot solve it. Right. Well, also in HR, there is a paradox. You need to be, and I mentioned this in my book, and I shared some tips that work for me and work for others. You need to be a priest. So you're the angel again. MashaAllah, you always need to be the role model, right? HR always need to be a role model, right? You need to be the negotiator. You need to be the ambassador. You need to be the sheriff, right? So you punish people. Huh? You need to be, I refer to as the sheikh, the head of the tribe, where you're generous and wise at the same time. There are too many things required from HR, and this is a challenge.
Yes.
Someone to be in HR, it's even worse because you're dealing with everyone's problem, not only your problem. Especially now at Bobian, I'm leading the leadership and talent development and all of this, and you deal with people leadership issues.
Yes.
Right? And it's secretive. You cannot share it with others. And again, everyone who have a problem with their leader, they'll talk to you. So it is a challenge. So you need to balance this. However, always make sure that although some people are really nice and they're good in their heart, but they might be afraid, they might be weak. So they'll point the finger at you. Always be secure. Don't be enthusiastic. Hold everyone accountable to do their work. Make it clear for everyone. Don't do it case by case. Do a general case. Get alignment from the management. What leader should do, what HR should do, and why. So one time I told them, they told me in one of the companies, you do all the succession, you do all the leadership, you coach the people. I said, okay, no problem. Let all the leaders report to me, not to report to you as chief operating officer. I said, huh? I said, yes. I'll do everything for you. So half of the budget comes to me because I will hire, right? And I will fire. And I will develop. Then what is your role? Only to set KPIs? I can set KPIs better than you. I know everyone's business better than you. And he was shocked. This took me a year to understand. But because I was engaged, personally I was engaged, and my team were engaged, they knew exactly how to set the right KPIs without manipulation and without stretching too hard on the people. So I was ready. I had the numbers right, I know my business well, and I know the capacity of my people. So in that sense, they said, oh no, it doesn't work. No, we have to, they have the boss, the owner said, no, they need to have their own accountability and all of this. And then we set the authority matrix. They never had the authority matrix. And what's even worse, the term handle. And some people here, I think they saw this. Even in well-established organizations with a clear authority matrix or RASI charter, what have you, they still don't do their work and they get away with it. Most of the leaders come by wasita, relationships, technical experience. Although they're good people, they might be very good people, but mostly they were hired for their technical experience. Again, poor leadership. We don't have in the most likely, I know only in Oman, they have like this Royal Leadership Academy where they produce leaders. Still, I don't know how well they are, but that's a challenge. And this is how I do it. You set a standard, get the management involvement, challenge, and talk money. When I told them, because money talks, right?
Yes.
When I told them, they report to me, okay, I will on the budget. Whenever you talk numbers, they will step down. And they'll be protective, defensive of their area. I'll do this for you. So please take care of your people. He will tell you or she will tell you, I don't know. I said, all right. Humbly ask me to help you through training. Now you know why training is important.
Yes.
Now you know why coaching is important. Then he goes, okay, I want to train for them. I said, no, sorry, I'm the expert. I'll tell you. They need coaching, they need training, they need mentoring, they need rotation, they need this, they need that. They need on-the-job training. I will tell you. So here things become different. But if I said yes from day one, then that's a challenge. If I said no all the time, that would still be a challenge. Then it would have failed. And I'm still, with all of the time I spent, I'm still struggling and also pushing the HR agenda, because again, we are pioneers in this. There is not a lot of literature on what HR should be doing. Most of the literature, unfortunately, there is all about HR excellence, and mainly about the West. Mainly about less than 500 million people living in North America and Western Europe. This, and we expected that would be applied to the remaining 8 billion people. And that's why in HR Hustler, I wrote many cases about the Middle East. People I know personally. So it can apply, the best HR practices can apply, but with the Middle Eastern twist, some spices.
Yes, that's really great because, as you said, every place has its own culture, its own values, and environment. So many people just get tools from anywhere or read or attend a conference, and they can get tools and just want to apply it everywhere. I believe that the sense of the culture and the taste of each culture has difference. How did you use this, or how did you utilize this in your previous experience and previous work?
Trust me, والله دكتور محمد. يعني I have most of for example, the procedures, the code, the procedures, the tools, my certificates, have them here, with me. All the booklets, the material, right? All the tiny notes, everything with me. More than 22 years now. In HR, in Six Sigma, in change management, you name it. I only utilize less than 20% of all my knowledge. So I cannot say this is what happened to me. I couldn't say that, or I couldn't take whatever I have, whatever I reached or accomplished in one organization and applied it in the other. Although I thought I could have done that. And I said, خلاص, mashallah. I will say 3 years, 5 years, I will be the king of HR. They will be amazed by the work I do. Even the simplest thing couldn't work. If you didn't understand the essence, this is a message to myself. If I didn't understand the essence of HR, that HR is not a human resource. HR is the heart rate of the organization. It's the pulse that you need to check. You are an enabler. Like the best leader is someone who never feels that he is there or she is there, but you see everything goes well in his presence and doesn't go well without his presence. But you never see him in the picture. He's always behind the scenes. This is also the ideal HR. So I figured what I could do to serve the urgent request of the business, to show them my expertise, convince them with my expertise. They saw something in you. They need to see something in you with a twist. In addition, just play simple. If they tell you we need succession planning, don't tell them we need learning and development. No, give them succession planning. And then you do something else. This is what they want. If they tell you, I want a training, don't tell them what is the ROI. Give him a training. You figure the ROI. Yes. It's not their problem. Okay. They see you as a very minor role. It requires time to prove to them that HR really is a very, very strategic and maybe the most important function in the business. It's not there yet. Okay. So you need to accept that fact. And if you didn't serve them well, then basically you're not the right person. Although you have all the expertise maybe, and you know what you're doing and everything, but the people are not happy. Okay. As you have your best friend, Dr. Mohammed, your best friend is not the most sophisticated guy, but the guy who tells the truth in a nice way. صح ولا لا? Right or wrong? So be that guy. Okay, so simple as that. Whatever you need, I will serve you, I will help you. Firing is not the solution. There's one time, well, in one of the organizations, they wanted to fire 30 drivers. I told the CEO, he said, it's haram, they're taking my money. Federico, who might know who I'm talking about. Okay? Mr. Federico Rodriguez. So I told them, consider them fired. Okay? But guess what? It's your money, not mine. You will be losing because there is no clear case. Okay, that all of them were not trustworthy. Okay, and then once we did an interrogation, an investigation over the weekend, okay, it was my weekend and my team's weekend. I could have just said, you know, who cares? Tell us. I just fired them. Let me enjoy my weekend. Why I bring my team and I pay overtime and I came and everyone was really frustrated. It shows that maybe two people really did it on purpose and didn't deliver the service as required from the 30. When I did the analysis, I give the information, I told him, boss, this is the case. What do you think? And he said, oh, okay, it's good that we didn't take that decision. I said, of course. We keep an eye on them. We can fire them tomorrow. I know until I left, they were not fired. Okay, so you need to have that, and that's why a lot of ladies are good at HR. But still, I don't see HR as a female's ideal role. I feel female can play any role, and I do believe also men can play any role. It just depends on the situation. It depends on the position itself. Maybe even within HR, now I need someone with high compliance. Or maybe I need someone within HR or HR head to be very bold because I'm downsizing. Or someone who's very inspirational. Right? So it's very dynamic. You cannot have, like when you're playing football, you have different coaches, they're all good. One is good at building a team, one is good at managing the stars, one is good at managing costs, even within football, right? So it's the same. You need to be that guy. The people listen to, people appreciate, they know that you are genuine, but you know what you're doing.
That's really great. Actually, when you say that you have to well serve them, I was going to ask you how you well serve, but I think the case that you have said about these people and so on really answered my question. How can you make sure that you really are serving your people, your management team, your top management, and serving them well as well? So how can you make sure of that?
You need to know your craft. You need to be very good at one thing. And that's why they hired you from the beginning, or they appointed you. You need to, like I said, when they ask for something, you deliver it very well. Because again, you're an HR guy and there is an HR request. Like anyone else, like when you hire an accountant or an analyst or a programmer, you need to be happy with their delivery.
Yes.
Okay. Once you are good at what you're doing, then you can be an advisor of serving them, helping them, all of this. And once they know that you can deliver, you know, in a satisfactory and very satisfactory way, and they can talk to you, and you can convince them of the right approach to things, then they can listen to you for your advice. Can you imagine that whenever they ask me to deliver training, it's poor training. People are not happy. They ask me to do payroll, it's a sloppy work. They ask me to do an engagement, very, very sloppy work. So why they will keep me? Okay. Even if I was very, very good technically in my work, but it's very hard to be approached. You're an HR. You're definitely in the wrong position. you're definitely in the wrong function or industry. You need to look somewhere else. So these two things, customer centricity, knowing your work, delivering and exceeding expectation, without, let's say, inflating your work. Don't be so sophisticated for the business, even if you are. Because at the end, you are HR. We're not in the university. We're in business. In addition, Mr. Rabi, this is very, very simple. I always address like management. In one organization, they all wear dishdashe without kutra وعقال خلاص. All my life, I've been wearing suits when I go to work. Now at Bobian, I'm wearing traditional every single day, except on Thursday, for example. On Thursday, I wear casual. They need to feel that you are one of them, right? And then you can say whatever. They need to trust you. They know that they're comfortable with you. You're not a threat to them. And you have to show this by supporting each one and marketing each one. Genuinely. But you need to market them. So I market my work through them, even now.
That's great. That's great. Type. For you to be successful in this, what support you need?
First of all, your people. Most importantly, what they need to deliver their work and in their homes. I make sure I try to convince them and make them believe that work is even to be at work is even better to be at home. Why? Because at work, if you cannot deliver, you can rest, you can take a day off, or your teammates will take some of your work. At home, if you're a brother or you're a parent or you're a son, you cannot say no to your role. So this is how I convince them. So inshallah, they come to work, they look happy. Sometimes they don't want to leave, and I leave before them. I leave on time, I come on time. And I push them not to stay longer, although they're very happy to work together, alhamdulillah. Yet, my team need to be strong to deliver. So I can deliver upon promises, because I cannot always manage the expectation of the stakeholders. Every year, every time, I am stretched to deliver more and more. So I cannot control it. So I need my team to be solid, strong, healthy, agile, and ready, and have the stamina. When they ask for leave, it's automatically granted. I don't ask why. I just deliver it. I just give it. Right? They need to trust me. Second, stakeholders. Every time, all the time, right? You need to have a credit with everyone. In order, when you ask a favor, they can give you back the favor. But don't expect from them to really support you. Although you supported them many times. But this is the case. This is the truth. This is reality. It doesn't mean that when I help someone, he or she will help me. That's not always the case. Every day is a new day. And that's why it's very important also with the support system is to have everything documented and clarified. With this, you will still challenge, people will still nag, people will still share negative feedback about you. But this is life. So these two things, starting with your team, be strong internally, and then build bridges and relationships and favors externally, but genuine favors.
Yes, yes, I totally agree with you. Like our dearest colleague, Ms. Alia, saying that you are as good as your team. So build a strong team. And this is very dangerous because many people don't like to have strong people with them. They think that if they have strong people with them, they can take their place and there's no need for them, and so on.
That's correct.
So tell us about main tips or main lessons to be learned from this nice and insightful session? What are your main advice to HR people, and how can they increase their influence and achieve excellence?
Well, basically, I will share whatever I have in the HR hustler in a nutshell. The HR hustler is divided into 4 parts. And this is how you get maximum influence in any business. So basically, you need to understand how your business makes money. Simple as that. That's number 1. Number 2, what is the role of HR really? The future of HR. You know, Dr. Mohammed, what are the different titles of HR? Of course, we have Chief Human Resource Officer, Chief People Officer, which I disagree, honestly. I don't know what's the Chief People Officer. Then what is the CEO will do? He's also, or she's also the Chief People Officer, right? So it's a bit I don't know. That's not a solid title for me. One good example, an alternative for the Chief HR Officer is Chief Experience Officer. Can we imagine? This is the truth. HR is all about experience. Your experience in your first interview, your experience in completing your work, your experience at your first day of onboarding, your experience of your first performance management, how you feel, and how did you... Even now, whenever we have a performance management meeting, you get crumbs in your stomach, right? You don't feel good. You feel defensive. What is our role as HR to do this? Okay, so these experiences, if it was improved and looked at by HR genuinely, okay, and with the support of leaders, then basically people will never leave, and they will do all the innovation that you want, and they will be as much productive as possible, right? And this will be a great place to work. So this is a very strong title, Chief Experience Officer. Another title is Chief Happiness Officer.
Yes.
Right. I don't own happiness. I can't make you happy. I cannot force you to be happy. That's why I like the experience more. So this is the second chapter. Okay. And I talk more about it. And how to be strategic, how to think about the future. The third step or chapter is how to build the right HR function. Where are you from AI? How well you're using data? Are you using enough? Do you have enough? Do you have the right tools? Do you really embrace technology? Right? If you don't know how to use ChatGPT or AI, what do you expect from others? Right? And last but not least is personal branding and influence. We need to learn how to build our personal brand, social media, internally, all of this, and how to be influential. And of course, all the certificates we can take, we do need to have certificates, okay? Whether it's core HR, okay, because HR now became very, very technical. And it's not like before that, well, in some organizations still, anybody who's, let's say, close to retirement or poor business leader, they put him in HR. Okay, or unfortunately, if she's a lady, then HR or marketing. Okay, that's a woman's job, right? It shouldn't be the case. They need to make sure that in order to have an HR leader or someone working in high position HR, to have the technical knowledge, not only from experience, also through certification. And so there are so many certifications. And there is also supporting certifications like PMO, project management, Six Sigma, change. There is a lot of certification that are very supportive. In addition, of course, to the MBA. So I talked about all these 4 steps, and these are the 4 steps that I feel that will give you maximum influence on the business with the right practices, if you know how to do your work well.
Yes, that's really great. That's really great. I'd like to thank you so much for this insightful session and tips. And I want to see from our audience if they have any questions or inquiries. If you have any questions or inquiries.
First, a question for free, then we're going to charge. What do you think?
If you can apply this in HR as well, say that if you have any concerns.
Correct.
I think it's really challenging working in HR to handle all people issues, challenges, provide great experience. I think, again, I believe not everyone can work in HR. You need special character that's for people working in HR. And I believe if you don't have big heart to understand and see things from people perspective, then HR is not the right place for you.
Definitely. And the challenge, Dr. Mohammed, we have a question here. The challenge is because it's more of an admin job. People think that anyone can do it. Well, yes, anyone can do it, but will they survive it? Will they succeed? Because at the end of the day, it's not an easy task.
Yes,
you receive calls. Yeah, you receive calls on people issues. Everyone's issue is your issue, especially related to people. And it's very, very hard to deal with them, as you know. Let's see the question from Alia. Alia is one of the great HR stars, leaders I met.
Yes, she is. Actually, we had the pleasure also to invite Alia in one of our sessions. She was leading the session. It was a great and informative one as well. So it's great to have good HR people and build the HR community so that they can support each other, because you know that what you're saying, you say that what you're saying is really good, but again, in practical life and with all the pressure, you cannot really implement this. So what are we trying to do with our HR leaders community is supporting each other and giving advice and support so that people can go in the journey, because it's a long journey and it needs special people.
Yes. What I would recommend, don't underestimate certifications and knowledge. Don't underestimate. But this is not the solution.
Yes.
You are not doing programming or doing engineering, right? You're dealing with people. So you need both. You need to be solid technically and dealing with people.
Yes.
This is very, very important.
Yes, the balance is really important. Yes, I totally agree. Mr. Federico is saying the local SMEs is on the rise. However, most of them don't have an HRD altogether. It's strategic both for the business and their people. What's your take on this crisis?
Well, they cannot have it. I do understand, but what I hope that they will read the HR Hustler, right? Basically, to explain what HR should be delivering.
Yes.
And what they can do is at least the SMEs leader or leaders, okay, they will pay that role. Again, it's not payroll, because there are companies that outsource payroll. And now we have systems, they do this for you. It's not payroll. It's not a training or hiring. It's the experience. It's the message. It's the environment. And linking it all together with the company goal and strategy. This is what really makes sense. So makes sense. So in an industry like in retail, it's very dynamic. You expect people to leave because it's retail, right? Customers can be suddenly unhappy, and if you get very good feedback today or customer experience today, tomorrow it might be the worst. You cannot control, you cannot manage. So there is an expectation of having, for example, a turnover of 20%. I expect this. They should expect this. When you come to government sector, it's totally different. Right? There is zero customer experience and people feel safe. Okay, and but things will be slow because very autocratic. Right? So you need to manage the expectation. I cannot treat the private sector like a business sector, like a government sector. I need to understand the dynamics. And then I decide if this is the place for me or not. So for small SMEs, definitely the chief experience officer, chief HR officer is the CEO. They need to play that role.
Again, from experience, I think you have two scenarios. The first scenario, when you have the CEO or the managing director is really aware about HR, its function, its importance, and so on. So then you can go, and it could be a bit easier for you to start, like in banks, in telecoms, and so on. So, and for example, in Zain was Dr. Saad Al-Barrak, he was a believer in HR and highly appreciate what they are doing. And HR was under support services. He said, not take some support service, make them directly report to the CEO, for example. So if you are in this case, you are lucky and you can do whatever. This would be great for you. The other case is that the CEO or the GM doesn't believe in this, or he doesn't know about HR, say the admin, payroll, why we need HR even, okay? So in this case, I think you have to build your way, okay? Gain trust, talk the numbers, understand the business, go step by step until you get their trust and confidence and start implementing some of the HR.
Dr. Mohammed, would I believe in the hard days are over. خلاص HR became a strategic partner. We have certifications now. We have people realize the world, even not here on HR. Also, I hear that small SMEs, very small, they talk about talent management. I said, wow, talent management? Do you know this terminology? So eventually, things will be pushed in the right direction. But the question is, are we up to it? So the HR need to really step up and play that role. It's not only fun, it's also about delivering the tough messages. Some people might steal, so you need to deliver a tough message. Some people have issue with integrity. Some people are bullying. What do you do about it? So we need to be aware. It's not always sunshine and rainbows. HR is about, again, the heart rate.
Yes.
I don't have any different name for it. So making sure that you have long-term view of taking a decision. If I take a decision now, did I deliver it? Did I take it because it's only fair? I didn't consider the future, what the future challenges, the future cases will be. So it is tough, and I just hope that we, for the future generation, to not take it for granted, and really try to be as genuine, as competent as possible to help the organization thrive.
Yes, yes. I think Ali here also saying we are, as HR leaders, should sell the idea of the need for the HR experience, strategic objectives that should align with the organization, especially because most companies are cost-driven, especially with the current economic situation. Okay, so again, if you talk numbers, help them saving costs and do whatever, this should be good. Otherwise, maybe you will not get the management attention and the leaders' attention. We have another question from Mr. Nail. How can we maintain authenticity and while using influence techniques, especially in high-stakes environment where persuasion might conflict with personal values or organizational ethics?
Excellent. So, dear Nael, there is a difference between motivation and manipulation. Negotiation and influence doesn't have to do, it doesn't need to come with any untruthfulness with this. When we negotiate, we both negotiate on giving and taking. If it's only giving from me and taking from you, that means that there is no negotiation. Okay, so when we negotiate, we agree on a common ground, but both are comfortable, both let's say keep what is most important. Okay, the second again with influence is motivation, not manipulation. So I don't tell people do this because it's good for you. Well, deep inside, I know it's not good for them. And in coaching, that's why I really like to keep the title there. Okay, as a coach, as you know, Dr. we don't coach people to say what we want. Okay, we don't have a prejudgment. That's why everyone in HR needs to be a coach, a genuine coach, a real coach. Okay, and basically help them find the right solution and help them decide what is right. And just show the real picture. If the situation is bad, then the situation is bad. Right? I'm not going to make it worse for you. Okay? And I'm not going to make it look good because it's bad. And if you deserve a raise, that means you deserve a raise. Okay? And when you act like natural and genuine in general, people will feel comfortable talking to you. And they will know that you're genuine. They know that you are honest. Okay, and just keep it this way. Maintain your integrity. Okay, as we say in Arabic, حبل الجد قصير. Even with good intention, people will know that you lied, even for the right intention. But then it's not my problem. Okay, it's God's decision for things to happen. Okay, it's your problem as an employee or an individual or leader that you have taken the wrong decision for whatever reason, and you're getting punished for it. Or maybe you did everything well, but there is no opportunity for you. I don't need to make things look better. Why at the end, I have a family and you have a family. At the 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m., I need to go home. خلاص. Right? I did my part. I did my homework. And I do what is necessary to help the other person, and that is it. خلاص. I cannot break my head anymore. Otherwise, what will happen to Sheikh Mishal? That means he will never sleep. Right? The Prince of Kuwait. I see the CEO leaves at 2 p.m., sometimes 3 p.m. Okay? So if the CEO leaves on time or after later a little bit, 15, 20 minutes later, why I should stay and carry the burden of everything? Right? Because the job is done. The job is done. I hope that this is beneficial, a useful answer for you, inshallah.
Yes, that's why, again, I say that not anyone can work in HR. You need a person with integrity, genuinity, and everything. Otherwise, it will be a big mess.
You will. Yes.
So thank you so much, Mr. Abdulaziz, for
Pleasure.
the great session, insightful session, and all these tips. And I hope everyone enjoyed the session. And thank for everyone who attended with us today. And again, inshallah, this will be recorded and published on our YouTube channel. And thank you so much. I'm looking forward to see you, inshallah, in another meetings, inshallah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good day. Thank you all for attending. And thank you, Dr. Rabi', for the invitation.
Thank you so much. Our pleasure, and wish you all the best. And inshallah, we'll see you again, inshallah, in coming sessions with us, inshallah. Thank you.
Inshallah, my pleasure.